Ralghia the Witch, Chapter 5, Part 2. The Gift That Is Also a Curse. But the thrill is in the hunt, and women caught too easily can become tedious after a while, so it's always a good thing to return home, where the ladies have their own special charms. They act so innocent, and sometimes they are. That doubles the pleasure to hear the sweet young things beg for more. For some reason, this bothered the vintner, and he tried to change the subject. So you have been to the islands. What do they look like? How's the food there? Why, just a few hours ago, my friends and I came across a fine one for our captain, his friend continued, as if he hadn't heard. Grabbed her while she was picking flowers in a field not far from here and humming a little tune to herself. But once my captain deflowers her, this flower girl will be making music of a different sort. Too bad I won't be there to hear it. The vintner's hands trembled. Flowers? What sort of flowers? Daisies, I think. But what does that matter? The point is, the two of us are together again. It's just like old times. Almost like old times. But where is your captain? We can't celebrate without him. He stays aboard ship, and what a fine ship it is, painted a deep crimson to instill fear in all who see it, so that they know they face the crimson pirate. The vintner nodded. Then I must visit him, but I cannot arrive empty-handed. As a matter of fact, I have a special bottle of wine I've been saving for such an occasion. Come, let us go get it. The two of them got up and walked arm in arm. But as soon as they entered the cellar, the vintner pulled out his knife and stabbed the first mate in the stomach. "What is this?" was all he could say. "You have betrayed a good friend, the woman you plucked. She was my daughter." "Betrayed you? But no! How could I have known?" "You have destroyed her honor. And mine! Please, please, I beg you." But already he could feel his life and youth leaving him. He looked down and saw how gnarled and withered his hands had become. And because he had lived so long, already his fingers were crumbling, turning to ash and dust. "You do not have much time left," the vintner said. "Use these moments to contemplate your fate." He stormed off, locking the door behind him. As the first mate lay dying in the gloom of the cellar, Ralghia the witch appeared before him. "Away, foul witch!" he shouted. "I should never have laid eyes on you." "Why do you complain? I have bestowed on you a great gift." "This a gift? You have cursed me, and now I lie dying. Now be gone, and at least let me die in peace." "So be it," Ralghia said as she vanished. The vintner, meanwhile, bought a sword. He made his way to the port and hired a boat. "Where do you wish to go?" the boatman asked. "To the crimson ship anchored in the middle of the harbor." "What? And face the crimson pirate? Not on your life." "The sun is already low in the sky. By the time we get to the ship, it will be night, and the darkness will hide us. You need take me only part of the way there, and I will swim the rest of the way," the vintner said. Then, seeing that the boatman was not convinced, he added, "There's gold in it for you. Where I'm going, I won't need it anyway." The two of them set out. The boatman paddled only as far as he dared, but that was enough, and the vintner paid him handsomely. Then, with the sword at his side, he dove into the water. How icy the water was! It stung his whole body, and though it was only a few hundred yards to the crimson ship, already he could feel his strength leaving him. As he swam toward the crimson ship, barely visible against the starry sky, it occurred to him that he didn't need to go. All he had to do was turn around, and he need not lose his life. But then he realized that he wouldn't. No, he couldn't abandon his daughter. The girl he had raised, the girl he had protected, was now a woman, and he loved her. That gave him the strength to keep going. By the time he reached the ship's anchor chain, He was almost too weak to pull himself out of the water. But at least he was alive, and he had something important to do. That, too, gave him strength to climb the chain, even as he saw how weak his arms were and how gnarled and withered his hands had become. He didn't have much longer. He pulled himself over the gunwale and collapsed, gasping for air. He didn't have long before he heard the shouts of, "Intruder! We have an intruder on board!" He sprang to his feet and pulled out his sword. He was sick and exhausted, and his left arm was throbbing. But he didn't need his left arm for fighting, so he pointed his sword at the men surrounding him and spoke as gently and calmly as he could. "I am here to see the captain. I have no quarrel with you. Let me pass." "And what would an old man like you want with our captain?" one of them challenged. "The only thing you'll see is your grave." The pirate lunged, but the old man was too quick. He sliced the pirate's stomach open, and the blood came pouring out. "I am here to see the captain," he repeated. "I have no quarrel with you. Let me pass." The pirates moved aside. The old man staggered toward the aft deck, sword aloft. "Take to your boats," he said. "Abandon this ship, and you will live." The pirates didn't know what to make of that, and some stepped forward as if to challenge him. But the old man slashed the air with his sword, and they thought better of it. They made for the boats. The old man stumbled down the stairs. He found the pirate captain in the hold, counting his gold and jewels. "Give me back my daughter!" he shouted. The captain looked up to see an old man who looked like he had nothing left to lose. "What?" was all he could say. "I have killed your first mate, and now I have come to kill you. Give me back my daughter, Jack Fletcher!" "How did you—" the pirate captain gasped. Then he laughed. "I never thought it would be you. To think that you have become an old man who feels he has nothing else to live for. And that will destroy us both. That is fate, my friend." "Ah, but perhaps it won't be as easy as you think," the pirate captain sneered as he drew his sword. "I don't believe in fate anyway, for I have kept my life and youth. And you, why, you can barely stand up. You are the only one left alive who knows my real name. After you, there will be no others." Before the old man could raise his sword, the pirate captain charged and plunged the blade into the old man's chest. The blood came pouring out, and the old man fell to his knees. "I win!" the pirate captain shouted, standing over his vanquished foe. "I shall watch you die, and with that, I will live forever." The old man felt the rage boil up inside him. "Not for you. Never for you," he spat, and he sliced at the pirate captain's ankle. The blood gushed out, and he lost his balance. He fell at the side of the old man. The old man struck blindly, slicing the pirate captain in the side. Then again and again. "No!" the pirate captain shouted. He tried to lift his sword, but his arm didn't have the strength. He looked down at his gnarled, withered hands and knew he didn't have much longer. Already his fingers were crumbling, turning to ash and dust. All he could do was watch as a man who had once been his friend crawled out of the room and stumbled to his feet. When he was alone, Ralghia the witch appeared before him. "Away, foul witch!" he shouted. "I should never have set eyes on you. Why do you complain? I have bestowed on you a great gift." "This? A gift? You have cursed me, and now I lie dying. Now be gone, and at least let me die in peace." "So be it," Ralghia said as she vanished. The young woman lay in the pirate captain's bed, sobbing, when the door creaked open. The old man fell at her feet. "Ah, you were here," he gasped. "At least I can see you before I die." "Father?" she stammered. Although his face had changed, she could recognize his voice. "Yes, my child. I have killed the one who did this to you, and now I have turned into this. At least you're safe now. That's all that matters." "Oh, But father, I have been shamed. Shamed? You have done nothing to be ashamed of. The fault is all mine, and I must die to atone for it. But know this before I die. I love you. Love? But you said, I know what I said. I love you. He held out his hand. There wasn't much of it left. Ralghia the witch appeared before them. The old man turned to her and smiled. Thank you, he whispered. What, you're not angry? I did curse you. You called it the gift that is also a curse, and it is a gift because I have lived for so long. Besides, without you, I would never have known that I can love. Then it seems that you alone have learned something. So I promise you, all the gold and jewels on board this ship, wealth I had planned to take for myself, goes to your daughter. I thank you. Ralghia turned to the woman. Between that and the money you inherit from your father, you are now a very wealthy young woman, she said. You can return to the town where you were born, or you can travel the world. Or you can come to live with me. I am working to create a town where women are free to live as they please, free from slavery and free from fear. You will be under my protection, living among women who have escaped similar horrors at the hands of men. What happened tonight will never happen to you again. I'd like that, she answered. But first, the young woman rushed to the side of her dying father. She knelt down and embraced what was left of him. I love you, Father. I love you. How hot the tears felt against her cheek. How hot they felt. As Janet read over her story later in the evening, she was shocked at what she had written. She could never show this to Natalie, but she'd already promised her daughter, and so at bedtime she read the story, glossing over the parts that troubled her the most. In this version, the pirate claimed the girl as a bride against her will, and there was no mention of sampling women or of being shamed, and certainly no horrors at the hands of men. When Janet was done, Natalie stared calmly. Why did you write this story? She asked. She sounded like an adult, not a child. What? Who is this story for? Are you saying men are bad? Natalie understood far more than Janet had intended. She struggled to remember how she phrased it when reading the story to her daughter. No, dear, she finally answered. That's what Ralghia is saying. That's what Ralghia believes. Those are the words of a witch. Oh, Natalie said, but she wasn't satisfied. She looked even deeper into her mother's eyes. Then why did you leave Daddy? Janet tried not to react. Instead, she massaged her temple, as if she had a headache. Sweetie, I'm tired, she said. We'll discuss this tomorrow. Okay, Mommy. But Janet had no intention of bringing it up again. She kissed Natalie on the cheek and waited for her to shut her eyes. Then she left her daughter to sleep some pleasant dreams. Only after she made it to her own bedroom and locked the door behind her could she allow herself to cry. She buried her head in the pillow to muffle the sobs, for she could not allow her daughter to hear. No,